Genesis chapter 15. The Lord's confident promise to Abram. Sometime later, the Lord spoke to Abraham in a vision and said to him, "Do not be afraid, Abraham, for I will protect you, and your reward will be great." But Abraham replied, "O sovereign Lord, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son? Since you are giving me no children, Eliezer of Damascus, a servant in my household, will inherit all my wealth. You have given me no descendants of my own, so one of my servants will be my heir." Then the Lord said to him, "No, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir." The Lord took Abraham outside and said to him, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have." And Abraham believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Then the Lord told him, "I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldean to give you this land as your possession." But Abraham replied, "O sovereign Lord, how can I be sure that I will actually possess it?" The Lord told him, "Bring me a 3 years old heifer, and a 3 years old female goat, a 3 years old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon." So Abraham presented all this to him and killed them. Then he cut each animal down the middle and laid the half side by side. He did not, however, cut the bird in half. So vultures swooped down to eat the carcasses, but Abraham chased them away. As the sun was going down, Abraham fell into a deep sleep, and a terrified darkness came down over him. Then the Lord said to Abraham, "You can be sure that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign language, where they will be oppressed as slaves for 400 years. But I will punish the nations that enslave them, and in the end they will come away with great wealth. As for you, you will die in peace and be buried at a ripe old age. After 4 generations, your descendants will return here to this land." For the sin of immorality do not yet warrant their destruction. After the sun went down and darkness fell, Abraham saw a smoking firepot and a flaming torch pass between the halves of the carcasses. So the Lord made a covenant with Abraham that day and said, "I've given this land to your descendants all the way from the border of Egypt to the great Euphrates River, the land now occupied by the Canaanites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites." And then we will go into chapter 16. The bird of Ishmael. The birds of Ishmael. Now Sarai, Abraham's wife, has not been able to bear children for him, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarai said to Abraham, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her." And Abraham agreed with Sarai's proposal. So Sarai, Abraham's wife, took Hagar to the Egyptian servant and gave her to Abraham as a wife. This happened 10 years after Abraham had settled in the land of Canaan. So Abraham had sexual relations with Hagar. So she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress Sarai with contempt. Then Sarai said to Abram, "This is all your fault. I put my servant into your arm, but now that she is pregnant, she treated me without contempt. The Lord will show who's wrong, you or me." Abraham replied, "Look, she is your servant, so deal with her as you see fit." Then Sarai treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. The angel of the Lord found Hagar beside a spring of water in the wilderness along the road to Shur. The angel said to her, "Hagar, Sarai's servant, where have you come from, and where are you going?" "I'm running away from my mistress, Sarai," she replied. The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit to her authority." Then he added, "I will give you more descendants than you can count." And the angel also said, "You are now pregnant and will give birth to a son. You are to name him Ishmael, which means God heard. For the God has heard your crying of distress. The son of yours will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey. He will raise his fist against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in open hostility against all his relatives." Thereafter, Hagar used another name to refer to the Lord who had spoken to her. She said, "You are the God who see me." She also said, "Have I truly seen the one who see me?" So that well was named Berahiroi, which means well of the living one who see me. It can still be found between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar gave Abraham a son, and Abraham named his Ishmael. Abraham was 1860 years old when Ishmael was born. Okay, so that is chapter 15 and 16 about Genesis, and this is more story about Abraham. I think these two chapters is most talking about Abraham descendants because Abraham cannot have children with his wife Sarai, and Sarai heard or misunderstanding what God promised Abraham, said to Abraham he will have a son. So he gave her servant to Abraham, and then her servant gave a birth a son. His name is Ishmael, but Ishmael is not what God is talking about, the descendants of Abraham. And the next chapter you will see Abraham really have a son. That descendants is from Sarai. And this is what the Lord really means. But Sarai misunderstood, and Abraham also misguided. Look like it's the Eve and Adam story happened again. That it was said, and a lot of people say that Ishmael is the ancestor of Israel, and that might be the Israel fight with Christian and Jewish people. So this is a long history, but look like we still cursed by this mistake. It starts from Abraham and Sarai. So that is give us another lesson. We must follow God's commandment. We must have a faith on God. And also we must correctly understand what God expectation on us, which is always follow God's commandment. Worship your God and love your neighbor as yourself. Okay, so that is for today's lesson. Hope everybody like it. Thank you. God bless you, everyone. Let's see you tomorrow.